station.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Here's where we are with this show right now. I tried for 4.5 years, Bob and Jeff. It's now Bob. I control everything, pal.
Jeff Lutz.
Like the harsh realities of life are slapping you in the face right now, and I don't think you can handle it.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Are we still on?
Stand by for action.
Hello again, everybody. It's a Friday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz and Jeff Lutz co-hosting, as always. Max Power, as always, producing and engineering. And, as always, the hotline, 869-1240. We're headed out after the show today for a little gathering down in the Old Town at the Pump House. You fired up for it? You looking forward to it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Can't wait.
What's the matter today?
Nothing's the matter.
Well, something's wrong. Did the Guardians play already?
No, I'm not upset. I have a little bit of a headache. I went outside and it was very hot. Walked for a little while. Didn't do wonders for me, but I'll be fine.
We're in for a heat wave. But it's late July. That's kind of to be expected, right?
Yeah, and it's going to get hotter. And I don't think anybody's looking forward to that.
Well, what do we have here? We have 91 tomorrow. That's tolerable. Then 97. Then next week 102, 103, 103, 102, 100. And the week after that, high 90s. Before some kind of a respite coming up around August the 8th, according to my weather app. We'll see.
Yeah, your weather app, whatever. Not the weather app, but a weather app.
I don't do the KWCH weather app.
Well, that's your problem. If you don't want accuracy and if you don't want, someone with their feet on the ground here with a vested interest in what's happening in Wichita, then yeah, just use your old generic weather app.
It's a weather channel.
No vested interest. Who do you think?
As far as I'm concerned, they are they're the national source of weather.
Who do you think cares more about Wichita weather, the Weather Channel or Ross Jansen?
Let me get back to you on that.
Well, you're wrong. Wrong answer.
Listen, Ross is a wonderful guy. Does a fine job.
You don't know him.
All of our weather people.
What if he's not a wonderful guy?
Well, I've never met Ross.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know.
I don't know why I've never met Ross. I've met Lisa Teachman. I've met Jay Prater. I don't know. They keeping Ross from me in some way?
Maybe.
You know, back when I worked briefly for KSN, do you remember those days?
Not too long ago.
And worked is a loose term. I was doing a daily column for them.
Daily?
Not a daily, a weekly column. Yeah, a weekly column.
Maybe every other week.
No, it was weekly.
How much do they pay you for that?
A pretty good sum.
Really?
Yeah, not bad. And if I went back to them today, they'd hire me in a heartbeat.
Nobody knows who you are over there.
Why do you?
We've moved
now,
on.
That was mean.
Wichita's kind of moved on. You know, we got a lot of young people in the market.
Well, there's some truth to that. I don't mind that. Of course, Wichita's moved on. I haven't written a column in the for several years.
You know, yeah, and I think
what my point was that we did a 30-minute television special before the NCAA tournament. What year was that when it was here? 2019, I believe, right?
Something like that.
And I was on the set with, notice how I called it set.
Might have been 18.
No, it was 19.
Okay.
And I was on the set with Jeff Herndon and Lisa Teachman, and it just we had a great time.
I'm glad.
I did really well.
Okay.
You watched it, didn't you?
No, I have no memory.
You don't remember seeing it.
We didn't have Channel 3.
Where'd you live, for crying out loud?
We didn't have Channel 3. We were streaming and we didn't have channel. We didn't do the.
Where'd you live at the time?
We didn't do the antenna thing. We lived on 21st. It has nothing to do with where we were living. It's
You didn't live on 21st in 2018.
17th, whatever it was.
When did you move to the out in the country?
2020.
Well, so where'd you live in 2018?
I just told you.
On 21st?
17th, off of 21st.
And you didn't have
And I was
Channel 3?
No, we didn't have it. It's not that we couldn't get it. We didn't have it.
Did you have 10?
We didn't have any channels. We did not have television.
Why? What kind of minimalistic nutcase were you in those days? What'd you do? Go out and hunt squirrels?
Yeah, because if you don't have a $3,000 a month cable plan, then you're a rural backwoods idiot.
Well, I mean, did you not? Did you have a stove?
The people who still have cable, suckers.
Did you have a stove?
I'm not going to address that.
So you're calling me a sucker?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, I don't have cable.
If you're still paying that much,
I have DirecTV.
Same diff. You know what I'm saying.
And because I have DirecTV, I'm able to tune into a lot of different things.
Well, that's fantastic.
Every baseball game.
Me too.
Not really.
Yeah, really.
Not on your TV. You can do it on your phone.
Of course I can on my TV. What do you think I watch baseball?
No. I don't believe you do that.
Well, you can believe whatever you want. Believing isn't going to get you anywhere, but I'll tell you the truth.
You've been angry this week. I think too much of me makes you angry.
I don't think so.
That's the feeling I get.
Not angry.
I feel like you are.
I'm not angry,
there's a tone to your voice.
But it's always just go at Jeff. Did you have a stove? You can't watch baseball. You didn't have Channel 3.
That's the way this is you're dealing with somebody whose mind works this way.
Okay, well then let me come at you.
Do you want me to be kinder and gentler?
No, but if you're going to call me mean and angry, then you got to deal with it. You better be calm.
Go with it. I mean, I'm right here.
I'm going to come out swinging, as always. You push me back, I'll swing.
I've never lost a battle to you.
Please.
A verbal tussle,
You are one of the worst arguers, and that's coming from somebody who knows all the tricks and all the manipulations. You are among the worst arguers in the history of the world.
Oh, that's funny.
You move facts. You just.
Why do I win them all?
You don't.
I don't. It's just amazing to me.
See, that's an instance of you being a bad arguer.
The NBC World Series underway. 2 games last night. The Monarchs from Hutch beat TPA Texas, but a pretty good game, 5-2 in the opener. They honored the great Satchel Paige. His grandson was in town for a ceremony. Kudos to them for doing that. Satchel Paige pitched in the very first NBC World Series all the way back in 1935. So this is the 90th tournament. He was there for the first. His grandson was on the field last night for a ceremony.
How old is his grandson? I was estimating around 70.
Yeah, I would guess. But it was great to have him there. And kudos again to Katie Woods and her staff for making that happen. Seattle beat the Tulsa Sandlot team. Why would you name a team Sandlot?
I don't know why any of these. Why would you name it TBT Tulsa or whatever they were called?
I mean,
why would you name them the Boulder Collegians?
Texas. The Collegians go back a long way.
Okay,
if you're going to start knocking,
why would you name them that?
If you're going to start knocking the Boulder Collegians, you're going to have to go through me.
Why would you name your team the Foresters? I mean,
because Santa Barbara is surrounded by forests.
Why would you name your team the Studs?
Because this team is sponsored by a lumber company.
What do studs have to do with lumber?
Oh, my God. Are you that derelict?
Yeah, I am. I'm a derelict. Now tell me what studs have to do with lumber. You tell me.
You don't know.
You tell me.
No, you don't know.
That's
I'm not
correct.
going to tell you.
That's correct.
I am not going to tell you.
You do not know.
I absolutely
then tell
do
me.
know.
Educate me.
I do know.
Tell me.
Now, I'm not telling you.
You better.
Because it's alarming to me that you don't.
Then I know.
What is it?
Not going to tell you.
Okay, good.
Are you going to tell me?
Nope. But that's why they're named that. Why are the Boulder Collegians named the Collegians? Because they're in Boulder, University of Colorado.
Right.
Their team was made up of college players.
As are all these
I don't
teams.
know if it's still that way, but very few teams have the history in the NBC World Series as the Boulder Collegians. When they played, you had to be there. You understand what I'm saying?
Did the Studs win? I played last night, right?
Yeah, they won 9-0. I just said that.
Well, I missed it. When are we going to have Barry Aiden on the show?
Love Barry Aiden. I'll get him on.
He likes to bunt, and I like to go at him for it.
Oh yeah, well,
And I would,
I'm sure he's.
and I still will.
I'm sure
this
he's
year.
really intimidated.
He probably does tell his friends, man, sometimes I really like going on that show, but it's tough because some of my backward baseball strategies are called out, and that's the only time it happens. So maybe he'll come on, maybe he won't.
You know what? I want you to say that exact thing to him. He'll chew you up and spit you out.
I'd love that.
You'd love him to do that.
Yeah, of course.
He knows so much more about baseball than you do. I mean, it's just...
What makes you think that?
Well, because he knows something about baseball.
Well, as do I, believe it or not.
You couldn't manage a game. You couldn't coach a game.
Absolutely.
You couldn't coach. You've never coached in your life.
I could very well manage a game.
Could you coach a game?
Yes.
Could you coach a team?
No, but I could manage a game.
Why couldn't you coach a team?
I'm not a good. I'm not an instructor. I'm a manager. I call the shots. I make the moves. I'm like the CEO. I've got underlings. You teach the game. I get it.
Because you can't teach the game.
I'm not a good teacher.
You don't know anything about the game.
I know everything about the game, but I'm not a good teacher. And I'll manage.
Why was I able to coach all these
Were
years?
you?
Am I a good teacher?
I guess.
Am I a good
Do you
coach?
feel like you taught us the game?
Sure.
Or was that more of a Randy Smith?
No, I taught the game.
Yeah, I guess you did.
Especially the pitchers. And what I teach mostly is I'm very much in the Brent Kimnitz school of coaching. And not because I have this, although I do have this great admiration for Brent and the way he went about things, but I completely believe in his approach to the mental side of baseball.
Okay.
That's the most important part. I tease Brent a lot about really all he teaches pitchers mechanically is to throw strikes and keep the ball down.
Right.
But it's the mental part of it. Show no emotion. That's a huge one. Because once a pitcher becomes emotional, all bets are off.
Probably. I mean, that's the way we've always thought about the game. I've not seen. I mean, pitchers get emotional, pump their fists coming off the mound.
Sure, but I mean, once they start to display emotion during the course of a game, like if you're contesting calls and balls and strikes, and a lot of pitchers do that. I just don't think it's good for them.
I'm going to be the antithesis of that. I don't play baseball anymore, but we as men get beat into us from day one. Don't show emotion. It's weak to show emotion. I'm gonna show emotion in all aspects of my life from now on. You okay with that?
No, you're an idiot.
Why?
You just kind of are.
Why?
You're a nice guy, but just to immediately decide, you know what? My dad's talking about don't show emotion.
No,
now I think probably that's the way I need to go.
I don't like that. Don't show emotion. I mean, I get that it's useful at times.
You're one who never shows emotion. You don't ever show emotion.
Right, because it's beat into us that we can't.
I show emotion all the time.
Like when?
Right now, I'm emotional. I get emotional frequently. I get emotional in a good way, and I get emotional in a not so good way. But it happens all the time. That
sounds like instability.
So
if
somewhat unstable.
Do you like
most
that?
people are?
You think so?
Sure,
Maybe.
most
Unstable?
people are, to some degree. Not 100%. Everybody's got some instability.
Would you consider me unstable?
No, you're like a drone.
So unstable is kind of a compliment, a badge of honor.
No, it depends on the degree.
But you said I'm not. But you said it kind of, you're not. No, you're not. Like it was derogatory.
No, you're not.
I was called unstable by a former boss.
Well, you might be. I don't know. I don't work with you.
I didn't like that guy.
Well, I don't work with you. Maybe you are unstable. I don't know how you are to work with.
I'm outstanding to work with.
People who I worked with who I viewed as unstable weren't fun.
I am the same every day, pretty much. I'm pretty steady at work.
Well, good. Then I'm proud of that.
Thanks.
I went to work and did my job. Did I have emotions? You're damn right I did.
Sometimes I get frustrated and annoyed or upset, but those times are very few and far between, and I don't make a big scene out of it.
I think emotions can be a good thing. They help drive people. I use anything I can get to help drive me, because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to stay driven. So you got to reach down for anything you can think of or manufacture or whatever it is to help drive you.
Sure helps.
You're not that way at all.
You don't know what I am.
Well, based on what I see, that's not how you operate.
How so?
I just don't see it.
But what do you see that is the opposite of that, or that suggests
I think
that
you're
I'm
more mild. I don't think you're as. I don't think you run as hot as I do, which is fine. I'm not saying you should run hot. I'm not saying that running hot is a positive. I'm not saying that at all. Sometimes I wish I didn't run as hot as I do, but I'm always running hot. It's hard for me to cool off. It's hard for me to pour water in my radiator. Does that make sense?
What does that
Remember
mean?
the days when we had radiators in our cars?
Yeah, don't we?
Radiators were... Notice how I jump around here? Radiators were a pain.
Is this the only thing you know about cars, is basically?
No, not really. I know that back in the day when radiators would overheat, and I don't know, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. I don't know. These engines are all computerized. But nothing sets you back like an overheated radiator.
Did you figure out what was wrong with your vehicle?
No, I haven't yet. It hadn't done it. As long as I don't drive at a high speed, I don't
Is it like a speed thing? Is it going to blow up if you...
I don't know. If it does, have a good time. My wife will get some money, and hopefully she enjoys life.
Split it.
Hopefully she enjoys life.
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be nice.
If my car blows up, what am I going to do?
What is the speed, though? That's kind of the threshold.
Well, if you get on the highway.
So you're taking back streets more often now?
I'm just driving in the city, which is 90% of my driving.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I go to and from League 42, to and from the accountant's office, to and from Leakers.
The accountant's office?
Yeah, I visit League 42 as accountant quite often. That's what I do.
Leakers. When did you have Leakers last night?
No. We ordered Ziggy's Pizza last night. You cannot go wrong.
Are you going to have pizza today?
I don't know what I'm having.
At the Pump House?
I don't know.
Best pizza in Wichita?
I don't know what I'm having. Ziggy's is hard to beat.
Ziggy's is very good.
You get their Ziggy, what's that called? Just the meat one?
I don't know.
Meet me at Ziggy's. And it's just so good. Now, most pizza is good. It's hard to screw up a pizza.
Pretty difficult.
But this one has great crust, great sauce. The meat's flavorful. And then they have these garlic bread, garlic cheese bread that's tremendous.
Well, there you go.
So that's
maybe not pizza for you tonight at the Pump House.
Well, don't worry about what I get. Why are you so worried about what I get?
David Michael Hahn and I, and, this is something that could very likely not come to fruition. I don't want to...
You're going to go do karaoke.
Yeah.
We're going to have dinner at 4:30. I'm out of there by 5:30. I don't know.
I'm saying we'll retreat back and then maybe go do karaoke.
You're not doing that.
Later.
No, you know what?
Or we might do it tomorrow.
Maybe.
And the place we're going to go to do karaoke is Mad Rocks.
In Derby?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it seemed like the most upscale establishment I could find that has karaoke tonight. I want as big of an audience as possible.
You're a travesty.
Why?
I don't know. That just seemed as big an audience. You think people are actually going to listen to you sing?
Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't they? Aren't they out there?
Because nobody listens when a karaoke singer.
Unless they're awesome. So here you go.
I texted Duda. Still on for today. 4:30. And then he just texted me too. What's the me too?
I'm sure he agreed with some insult you made of me. That'd be my guess.
Why are you and
Duda and I are kind of at odds lately. I don't know.
I don't get it. You're the one at odds, not him.
It's kind of like a Cold War.
Oh, he's saying me too, leaving at 5:30.
Well, whatever. That's an hour. That's a good time.
We'll have dinner and enjoy one another's company. And
no one was
hang out.
thinking we were going to stay for 3 hours.
Yeah, I got to get home and watch the Cardinals. I got baseball to watch. I got an early morning tomorrow. I don't have much time, so.
Well, I want you to, at least when you're there, engage and be there and don't think about everything else you got. Go, just be with us and have a good time.
What else would I do?
I don't know. I don't know what you'd do. But you're already talking about getting out of there and doing other things, so let's just...
Well, I got the Cardinals.
Just for that hour, just...
I enjoy being home. Now, I'm going.
We all do.
I'll enjoy it. There was a time in my life where I didn't enjoy being home. You know?
Sure.
I enjoyed being out.
There's never been that time for me.
Well, there was for me for about 30 years.
It's all good.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll visit with Bill Pintard, the coach, manager, skipper, D-man with the Santa Barbara Foresters. They're in action tonight at the NBC World Series at 6 o'clock against GPS Legends. Bill Pintard, our guest next.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
All right, we are back working on getting Bill Pintard on the show. Santa Barbara, again, in action tonight. They're 24-10 this year, which doesn't seem all that impressive, but then you remember they play a tough schedule.
Yeah, they play out on the West Coast with a lot of good teams. They have Division I players up and down their roster, and so do, I assume, their opponents most often. But we know Santa Barbara is going to be a force in the NBC World Series, as it is every year.
Yeah, their pitching staff includes folks from Fresno State, Texas A&M, TCU, Ohio State, Santa Barbara. It's loaded with D1 players, so they're obviously going to have pitching.
Yeah, high Division I.
They have 3 catchers who come from UCLA, Texas Tech, and Cal. All of their infielders, except for one, are D1 players. And except for 1, 2, 3, 4, most of their outfielders are D1 players.
They got a kid named DiMaggio. I got to figure out what's going on there.
Well, his name is Jesse DiMaggio. He's from Santa Barbara.
Yeah, we know.
I'm gonna guess he's not related to Joe, but I don't know.
There's not a lot of DiMaggios, and Joe was from the West Coast.
Well, he's got a high space in his last name, which Joe didn't.
So did he?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess it was just a capital, not a space, for Joe D.
If we get Mr. Pintard, we can certainly ask him about it.
Yeah, I would guess that he's not. Otherwise, when you Google him, I would believe that that's all you'd see, a grandnephew of Joe DiMaggio or whatever, but not seeing that.
Well, that's what did I tell you? Again, I try to lead you in the right direction, and sometimes you follow and sometimes you don't.
Sometimes. What are you going to do?
But this is a reminiscent team, and they have been forever.
No shockers on the team.
No shockers. I don't think they had any last year either. The Hutch Monarchs have 3, including Gustafson, Jordan Gustafson. Jaden Gustafson from Mays.
Yeah.
Who's a mainstay.
Well, we gotta get that team, the Shockers, got to take that next step this year.
I didn't know one of their pitchers, Jack Mount. How much did he pitch for the Shockers this year?
I don't
He's
know.
on the Monarchs, and he's from Quebec.
Really?
Why didn't we get him on the show? I'd love to talk to him.
Well, there's always time. Did he pitch yesterday?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the box score.
That's unfortunate.
I don't know if he pitched yesterday.
Neither have I, to be honest.
That's not necessarily my job, is to check every box.
Santa Barbara plays tonight, I assume?
They do. I've said that 3 times.
Well, I forget some of the things that you say.
The way that we can best reach our listeners is to be on the same page.
I forget things a lot of people say, so don't take it
Well,
too
that means you're not listening.
Jack Mount did pitch 21 games. Started 1 for the Shockers.
Have a good year?
No. But I'm sure he'll bounce back. He's got a little bit of strikeout stuff, 23 and 24 and 2/3 innings, but had a 6.20 ERA. Hitters hit well against him, but, it's still early for Jack. He'll get it put together.
I wonder if my friend Bill Pintard is starting to forget things.
What do you mean?
Well, we set this up, and
Well,
he
have
said,
stuff.
I'll be happy to talk to you. We're going to be hitting at that time, but I'll be available.
Well, they're hitting, I guess.
Well, he said he'd be available.
Is he not pitching BP?
No, Bill's not pitching BP. He's got other people to do that.
That's good. I didn't know if he still did it or not.
Well, I mean, I don't think he does.
I don't
In
know.
this heat? Maybe they're indoors somewhere.
That's optimal.
But no, I wouldn't imagine. I did not throw much BP this year for the very first time in my life. I turned that over.
It's not a bad idea.
Now, when I did throw it, I still had it.
Still got it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Here's our friend Bill Pintard. We're going to talk with him for a little bit. Santa Barbara here again. And they're not the defending champion. It's been a while since we said that. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good, Bob. How you doing over there?
We're doing okay. Are you hitting indoors or outdoors this afternoon?
We're hitting indoors right now.
Good.
It's kind of hot. Still hot.
Probably a good thing. So tell us about your team. When we just look at the roster and the stats, it looks like your typical Santa Barbara team with a lot of Division I players. How good is this team in your estimation?
We're gonna have to play good to get through this. We like a lot of summer teams with the portal and all the movement going on. We've lost some players. We probably lost 8 off our roster, but you know what we got? We're here to compete and we're here to battle. I don't think we hit as well as we have in the past, but our starters are good, and you just got to line it up in the NBC. You got to be a little lucky and good at the same time.
Is there a hitting profile or just traits or things that you've seen that suggest when college hitters are also going to be good hitters with wood bats? Or if you're just a good hitter, are you probably going to be a good hitter with a wood bat anyway?
I think you're going to be, if you're going to be a good hitter with metal, you're going to be a good hitter with no. If you're going to be a good hitter with wood, you're going to be a good hitter with metal. The way the metal bat helps you, it helps you when you make contact, non-barrel contact, and you kind of stick your butt out and just throw the hands at the ball and hit the blooper down the right field. That helps you with metal will help you do that. But, the sweet spot on a wood bat, maybe 4 to 6 inches, and it's a little bit bigger on the metal bat. But
talking with Bill Pintard, longtime leader of the Santa Barbara, California Foresters. They're in action tonight, 6 o'clock against GPS Legends. Where's this GPS Legends team out of, Bill?
They're out of Texas. We don't know a lot about them. They're out of Texas. They have some D1 guys. They got a pitcher from Rice, got a pitcher from New Mexico. that's how their arms will match up. And they also have a couple hitters throughout their lineup that are good, solid hitters. A guy named Maddox and a couple of the other ones. But I think, I think it's going to be down who hits a little bit better. It usually does. But I know we're going to pitch for a while. Our starter, he hasn't been pushed out a long time, not a lot of innings. But and then I think our relief corps will be okay tonight. We just had to shut down our closer, and because he was also a catcher at Michigan, so he's not going to be pitching for us, but he's going to be hitting. He's an old school player. He's a catcher.
I like that. I'd never heard of a closer who was also a catcher. That's
this
pretty
guy
amazing.
Was unbelievable at Michigan. He caught 2 games and they pitched the third one and took a no-hitter into the 7th.
Wow.
Bill
Pintard, our guest.
He'll be playing left field for us tonight. So, yeah.
So you mentioned earlier in the interview the transfer portal and how you've lost some players because of the transfer portal. We know NIL's infiltrated college athletics. We know baseball now, college baseball, the scholarship limit is increasing, which I believe will be a good thing for college baseball. Where are we in the world of college baseball? How do you see it from your vantage point as a summer league guy? There's not a lot of
loyalty. It's a double-edged deal, and I think it's necessary. Like if a college player is at a school and the coach that recruited him, he has the right to leave. Well, that college player should have a right to leave too, right? Because the guy he recruited wanted to go play for is no longer there. So I think that's a fair deal. And then some of the guys, when they do get a new coach and they go in there and they're going to say, hey, you're not going to play here much. So then that kid should go in the portal. And he should go in the portal and go to a place where he's going to figure that he's going to play and somebody wants him. So it's and then the other thing is it used to be allowed one transfer portal. Well, now they can transfer every year if they want. And they are hunting NIL money. Some guys are getting $100,000. I'm sure some of them might be getting more. So how it reflects on summer ball, okay, so you're signed up to play summer ball and you're coming from a certain university where you have a rapport with the coach and they're loyal to each other because the coach's summer ball is trying to get that player better. And the coach from from the school that placed them wants his player to get better. And then all of a sudden he transfers and he goes to a program that has no allegiance to the summer ball contract. And they can say, hey, well, listen, we just signed you. We want you to come in early and get some work. So that's kind of how it's. So we have lost guys. And then kids that go in the transfer portal and they're being recruited, I know they have to look at other schools. And so they take a trip. So they're gone for 3 days. So they're gone for about 3 days. Okay. And then they come back. And how much did they miss their bullpens or anything else? I think it's going to be a struggle for summer ball, and I think you're going to have a state of flux. I know the Cape's battling it too. Are you still there?
So, yeah, we're still
here. We're still here. We're just listening, Bill. You're educating us.
So, are you still 100% all in on the NBC World Series? How much do you weigh your options every summer? And, the tournament has made strides to, I don't know, change. I guess we'll just go with the overarching word. Have you noticed anything like that? And what is your relationship still with the NBC?
Oh, the relationship is great. Did you? I think the question you asked, I lost it for a second about the NBC and the changes that they've made.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's been good. It's I think the new commissioner has been, she added back baseball around the clock. I don't know if that was popular, and I don't know if she added that, but the communication is really, really good. They're on Twitter now more, or whatever they call it, Instagram. They're publicizing the NBC. And it's been a kind of a shot in the arm for it. I'm for a long time, the NBC under Lance Beckinger and Larry Davis, and they used to send out things during the middle of the year, the leading hitters and things like that. Then it kind of ran. The NBC just kind of ran itself. So, but I think it's very refreshing. I think she's done a really good job.
Talking about Katie Woods, now the tournament director for the National Baseball Congress. Bill Pintard is our guest. And this tournament, I mean, I think it was probably nothing against the Foresters, who are certainly one of the all-time great franchises. But I think it was, I'm not going to say it was needed, but I don't think it hurt that you didn't win last year, because you were starting to win so often that sometimes our attention and our interest wanes. It's good to have competition, right?
Oh yeah,
Seattle's been that. We've got the
they Hutchinson was good, and they were hot through the whole tournament. They were good, and we didn't get it done. And like I said, we're down a little bit this year, and we're going to have to fight and scratch to stay alive to get to that final game. So yeah, the competition is good. I think the state of it of the NBC is healthier.
Bill, we always appreciate your time. We look forward to watching the Foresters. How many tournament appearances is this for you guys now?
29. Well, 29 for me. 29 for me and 31 for the franchise. Consecutive.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on an incredible baseball life and career, and it's not over. Here you are again in 2024.
It ain't over.
Good luck, Bill.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Bill Pintard from the Santa Barbara, California Foresters. Joined by Mark Wiggins. Mark, welcome. How are you? I'm sorry we had a little confusion on our time today.
No, that's okay. How are you guys doing today?
Well, that's my fault, and I don't want you to hold it against me. So we're happy to have you. Tell us a little bit about your Coast to Coast for Cancer ride coming up here in not too very long, in September. Tell us about that.
Sure. So I work for a company called Bristol Myers Squibb in their oncology division. And about 11 years ago, in fact, one of my friends in the oncology division wanted to do a little more for cancer, as his mother was suffering, and wanted to do something bigger than himself, and planted this seed that has grown into now what we call Coast to Coast for Cancer. Since its inception, we've expanded to Europe and Japan and Latin America, and we've raised more than $16 million for the B Foundation and cancer research. And so, what I'm doing in particular is part of this initiative. I was hand-selected along with 126 other BMS employees from all across the U.S. They divide these 126 into 9 teams, and we ride relay style from Oregon to New Jersey. And so my specific segment starts in Boise and goes to Salt Lake. And my team is called Grateful in the Grind. And over 3 days, we'll ride about 225 miles. So a lot.
That sounds really mountainous, too.
It is. And so, being in Wichita, right, we don't have much elevation or many hills to train for. So I tell everybody I just ride into the 25-mile-an-hour headwinds that we have in Kansas, and it's like riding up a mountain. That's kind of what I do to prepare for that.
Right.
So in an oncology department, that means, of course, that you work with cancer patients, I assume, every day. So how do you take that relationship or feeling over now to your personal life? What kind of motivates you in that way? How maybe have you even personalized that battle and that journey for yourself?
Yeah. So I think we've all probably been affected by cancer in some way or another. Maybe we're a survivor or know a survivor, or we've lost someone. I lost my dad about 10 years ago, and that was kind of my impetus to get into this field, was to help people with cancer. Gosh, and it's a little bit of a funny yet human story. Is I joined BMS about 8 years ago, and the first time I saw the email come across to, for this Coast to Coast to Cancer, and they talked about the 5 months of training, the hours per week that would be on a cycle, and I thought, man, that looks hard. Delete, right? That looks too hard to do. I can't do that. But then a couple weeks later, I had someone that was in my inner circle pass away from cancer, and it was the fire underneath me. It was the kickstart that I needed, and from that moment, I swore that I would never stand on the sidelines again and just be a person that wished the world would change or things would change or we would find a cure for cancer. I was going to do something about it and do something that was hard, mentally, physically, do something that was bigger than myself, do something that was hopefully inspiring to others, to my family, to my kids. And so I have been involved with Coast to Coast in some way, shape, or form since then. Now, I might not be an official rider, be officially part, but I am always supporting behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Wiggins, our guest from Wichita. He's part of this event that's coming up in September to raise money for the V Foundation. He'll be riding from Boise to Salt Lake City over a 3-day period, September 12th to 14th. So you mentioned, man, I don't know if I can do this. I'm deleting this email, and how hard it would be. But you're doing it. How hard has it been?
So we've been training since March, and we slowly progressed. My team, in fact, really in general, none of the riders are athletes, right? We're not selected for athletic ability. We're selected for our passion to help people. So let's start with that. I'm not an athlete, but I have been training, incrementally increasing distances. Today, I rode from Wichita to El Dorado Lake and back, which was 70 miles. Tomorrow, I'll do 60. Sunday, I'll do 60. So, I don't know, for maybe people can relate by thinking, yeah, I'm going to get up and run a marathon before breakfast, and I'm going to do that 3 days in a row. So it is very physically and mentally demanding, and it's a commitment. A commitment that myself and all the riders take very seriously. And one thing that I've really liked about this is, although I'm making it sound very individualized, like I'm doing this training on my own, so maybe literally the riding is on my own, but as a team, we are a very close-knit group of people. Now, we speak remotely. We've only been together twice at some safety clinics where we were organized and rode together, but we've become very close, and you have to be close as a team because your life, I don't know, maybe not literally, but your safety is literally in the hands of the people that you're surrounded by, because we're riding in a peloton, just like you see professional riders on TV. We're supported by, a professional team of trainers, but we are, wheel to wheel. We're drafting each other. We're talking. We're communicating. I guess my whole point is the team really helps. Helps with the motivation to continue to ride the miles that we do, and of course the raising money for the V Foundation is such a strong motivator.
Yep.
So, how do we follow your progress? What are some of the other legs? I don't know if everyone's doing. You're doing 225 miles, which seems like a lot. Is that the most of anyone? And will this come through Kansas at all?
Yeah, so it does. So each leg, each team will ride approximately 225 miles. So I gave you the distance of between Boise and Salt Lake. We won't ride every single mile that separates those two cities. But we will ride roughly, 70 to 80 miles a day. Then we'll kind of shuttle to the next spot and pick up the next morning and ride again. And so each of these legs is like that all through the U.S. And the leg, I think it's maybe I'm on Team 3, and I think it's maybe segment 5 or 6 that comes through Kansas. That'll be later on in September. They'll start in Denver, ride through western Kansas, and end up in Topeka. And then the next relay team picks up from there and goes from Topeka to St. Louis. So that kind of gives you an idea.
Wow.
So we start in, yeah.
Very admirable what you're doing. I got to ask, Mark, how old are you?
Yeah. So I'm between, I'm 54. Yeah.
There you go.
So
don't try to hold it in. When you get to be, well, I'm significantly older, but just go with it.
So why do you ask that question? It's not insulting at all. I'm just curious as to why you ask.
Well, I mean, this is if somebody came to me and said you're going to ride 225 miles and we want you to start training, my deletion of that email would be permanent. So I just wondered. Wondered your age, and I admire what you're doing greatly. So we wish you the very best.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. It paints a picture of the demographics of the people who are, who are doing this ride. Last year we had our first hand cyclist. We have many people where this is their first experience on a bike, period. They have never ridden a bike. So they have learned to ride a bike. And so, if that it would take somebody like you, and you would be able to do this with the training and support that we have through Bristol Myers Squibbs and the people that we've partnered with. But I guess in closing, I just want to let all the listeners know how they can join in and how they can support. I hope you hear that my story as an individual is somebody who wants to make a change, wants to do something, wanted to get off the couch. And so that's what I implore anybody listening to do. If you've been affected by cancer, to go to cancerbikeride.org. And that's, like I said, that's easy to remember, cancerbikeride.org. Yep. We have the landing page. We'll talk all about Coast to Coast for Cancer. It'll allow you to see all the different teams and all the different individuals. And if you search for my team, Grateful in the Grind, it will allow you to make a donation to my team, which would be just outstanding. Now, it all goes to the same place. 100% of it goes to the V Foundation. But I would, since I'm the one doing the talking, I would love for everyone to donate specifically to the Great Grind team. Once again, that's at cancerbikeride.org.
And the goal is to raise $1 million for the V Foundation. Again, as Mark said, cancerbikeride.org. We wish you the best. We look forward to following this as it gets closer. And Mark, thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. It's been an honor. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask if you guys would go to cancerbikeride.org as well and make a contribution if you feel so inclined. It would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
We'll see you back.
Right, there goes Mark Wiggins. Heading out on a big bike ride coming up in September from Boise to Salt Lake City. That just sounds so daunting, given the mountainous terrain.
Sounds daunting, but if you're trained and you're ready for it and you're prepared, then you get to see a lot of cool stuff. And I don't know, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's for sure.
Oh, you might if you went and got into training. Maybe that's something. You're 13 years younger than Mark. Maybe next year this is something you do.
Unlikely. I don't see that in my future.
I'm going to send you an email about it.
All right, well, I'll delete it.
Don't delete it.
That's not what I have my eye toward at this moment.
What is?
But you never know.
What do you have your eye toward?
You don't need to worry about that.
Well, tell us after the break.
Nah.
It's a good thing to entice people to come back.
What if I don't have my eye toward anything?
We'll talk. We'll talk about what you have your eye toward.
No, we won't, but that's fine.
Coming up in hour number 2. The first game of the day out at X Stadium in the NBC World Series, Lone Star Baseball with a couple runs in the bottom of the 8th. They beat the Kansas Cannons 2-1. The Seattle Blackfins and the Hayesville Aviators, they're starting up about right now. All right, we'll be back. The Bob and Jeff Show, KFH.
Radio.
Hey, what time is it, kids?
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
When it's radio, it's just those words are gone.
I'm
It's
sure
still,
they're-
everything we do here, it's in a vacuum.
Jeff Lutz.
I have something against most older people's ideas. They just don't have any. We're at the top of pretty much everything. And here are boomers. Hey, I got my house and my Social Security, and I'm good.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Your visit is always discreet.
Stand by for action.
All right, we are back. Hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz co-hosting. Keeping an eye on the NBC World Series for you. Also the trade market in Major League Baseball, which had some interesting developments last night. And then even, when did that Arozarena trade to Seattle happen?
Seemed like it happened about midnight.
Good grief, man.
Yeah.
How late's that Peter Bendix up in Tampa?
I don't know, but he was ready to make a move, and Seattle's always ready to make a move.
Good move by the Mariners, in my opinion, although you get back prospects. It looks like Tampa Bay, if not tearing it down, is looking at tearing it down. They've got Yandy Diaz on the trade market. They've got some other guys they're looking to deal.
Can I ask you a question about your team and my team? Because obviously I'm following my team very closely, and it seems like the only team that's mentioned among contenders of, well, it's going to be tough. They might not make a move, and this market is only talk about the Guardians. Everybody else, small market or not, Royals are going to be aggressive. Pirates are looking at stuff. Every other team. But when you get to the Guardians, well, it's pretty tough out there. Is that just me making that up, or is that
That's what they all say.
Nobody says that.
Well,
Jerry
Cardinals-
Dipoto doesn't say that.
The Cardinals say to some degree.
They said last year we're going to go get 2 starting pitchers or whatever.
Well, that was in the offseason.
Yeah, okay, well-
3, and they got Lynn, Gray, and Gibson, and they're going to be in the same predicament this offseason.
Didn't they say we're going to try to acquire pitching when we make last year? Or
But they got pitching issues throughout their organization.
at least they have a goal.
Well, I
They,
mean, at least they have a goal, but they're not attaining it. Deal with it. You're 19 games over 500.
20.
Whatever. So I don't want to hear you whining.
Not whining. I'm just saying, is that out there for any other team? That, it's tough out there.
I don't know. I don't follow every other team.
Well, I
can tell you the Cardinals say it. John Mozeliak, who I despise.
Well, then I'd fire him. And I'm about to fire Chris
But I think
Antonetti.
the Cardinals will bring in some help. I expect them to bring in. I think they're a team that, there's been some trade deadlines in the past where they really went out and did something interesting. When they brought Jordan Montgomery in a couple years ago and Jose Quintana, that really pushed them over the top. Those were 2 good
Do you
starting
think this
pitchers.
is a team that, I know they're 4 games over 500 or whatever they are, and they're in the mix, but is this a team where a player or 2 can push them over the top?
Yes.
I don't know if I see that, but it could be true.
Yes, if Goldschmidt and Arenado were to start hitting, and they added to their pitching,
Well, we're 100 games in.
I understand that. I get it. You're talking to a guy who understands it. Would I sell my house to bet on the Cardinals? Of course not. But they got to do something here.
We'll see.
And it sounds like the 2 pitchers that are most on their radar are Nathan Eovaldi and Zach Eflin. And we'll see.
Good luck.
I'd take either one of those.
Pitchers are on a lot of teams' radars.
They're not aces, but they're middle rotation guys.
I'd like to have Eovaldi, but it sounds like Texas wants to be buyers, which, hey, they made a proclamation. Guardians, that's tough. Makes me sick.
Well, then change team.
I'm about to.
No, you're not.
About to change Pobos and GMs.
You're not going to change teams. You like to whine too much.
Well, I'm sure
my
I can.
point is,
I can whine about the
get on
Giants.
the wagon.
I can whine about the Giants too.
Oh, you're going to go to the Giants?
No, but and that's a never going to happen thing. But if the Guardians fell off the face of the earth,
deeply entrenched in the Cardinals that I couldn't leave if I wanted to.
Right, I'm the same.
But I'm going to tell you that the team that I've gained an appreciation.
Stop it. Go root for them then.
Because they've been good to League 42, the Royals.
Great.
Don't get angry, man. Did you see Bobby Witt Jr. out at Bishop Miege High School?
I did not.
Yesterday. Just hanging out, doing a clinic, had a great time, was brought to tears by some of the things the kids said. I'd love to get Bobby Witt Jr. here.
That'd be fantastic.
To talk to our kids. And I'm going to try to make that happen. Now that I have a relationship, and I don't want that to sound like, oh, the Royals are just at my beck and call. No. But now that I know some people in the organization, that's a much more likely thing than it used to be.
Well, good. I would, tread carefully, but pursue what you want to pursue.
That's what you got to do. You can't be bombastic. You gotta tiptoe around this stuff.
Of course.
But you also can't be meek. Would you send maybe Bobby Witt?
Yeah, it's just
you can't do that. That's what you would do. I'm gonna. I would
never be meek. Are you kidding me? Not a meek man.
We'll see. We'll see tonight how you approach Duda.
I'll knock him out
at the pump house.
I'll throw a dart at his head.
Are you going to play darts?
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. We got the big fella, Anthony. We got Duda. We got David Michael Hahn. Tony may show up. Our program director.
I don't know why he wouldn't.
Well, he'll be there.
You advertised him yesterday.
Yeah, I think he might go. He'll probably want to, sit next to me, and we can negotiate my next contract.
Fantastic. Remember my favored nations clause.
Say what again?
I said, remember my favored nations clause.
I don't know what that means.
That means whoever is the highest paid person, you got to match that for me.
You got the Phillies tonight.
Who cares?
The Royals at home against the Cubs. And Kyle Hendricks going for the Cubs in that game. I don't know if that... who's going for the Royals?
Not
Brady
sure.
Singer. Kyle Hendricks is great against the Cardinals and awful against everyone else. The Royals will bombard him tonight.
Could be. I hope not.
Trust
He's not very good.
They will annihilate.
Where's that game?
In Kansas City.
Well, then, yes, they will because they cheated home.
And,
they play better at home.
Our office manager, administrative assistant Jacqueline, her husband's a huge Cubs fan, and they're up there for this one.
Uh-oh.
And I told her this is not the game to go to.
Never a good idea to go see your team play against the Royals in Kansas City.
I hate it.
It never works out.
I used to go all the time when they played the Cardinals in Kansas City. And the Cardinals fared pretty well. The Cardinals have had a pretty good run against the Royals. Now, this year, the Royals came into St. Louis and just wiped the table with us.
You get them again, though, right?
We get them in Kansas City.
For a couple.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're an uncomfortable team to play right now. They haven't always been. I mean, they've been terrible for most of the past 40 years. But you got to be careful with them.
Yeah, it sucks to lose to them.
And they're feeling it. Trust me. They like being good. And I think this time they have a better chance of sustaining it. Remember, last time they couldn't afford to keep their good players. Well, their great players already under contract. And it seems like this ownership is intent on building around Bobby Witt Jr.
Looks like it. Well, they've given him a huge contract. And they've locked him up. They're keeping him around forever. Do you like I'll go back to the Guardians just because I'm so.
Why? I want to talk
because
about
I'm
this.
so irritated, and we'll go back to that. Can you believe Guardians have either tied for or the best record in the American League? They go to Philadelphia, who has the best record in baseball, and they roll out. This is your weekend rotation: Ben Lively, Carlos Carrasco, and Xavier Curry.
Well, they're just going to kill you.
They are going to kill us.
Are you ready for this?
I know what's going to happen.
I mean, they're already running to the bat rack in Philadelphia, and the game
be.
doesn't start for 4 hours.
It's unfortunate.
They can't wait. They just acquired Austin Hayes from the Orioles, which addresses an outfield need for them.
Yeah, they can put him in center wherever they need to.
He's a pretty good hitter. He's hot right now. So they make a deal. They send out one of their bullpen arms. They've got some issues in their bullpen, but Sir Anthony Dominguez is headed to Baltimore.
Correct.
He'll help Baltimore's bullpen.
Yeah, he's got to get a little better.
He's not. Craig Kimbrell's not the answer.
He's shaky at best. And I feel bad for him. Not really, because he plays on a team that I want to beat. But he's had such a good career, and I don't like seeing guys go out like this.
Well, I mean, he started well. He just,
It's kind of happens.
Is he 36?
Kind of happens to him every year.
Yeah,
it's a long
He's
season.
got a lot of innings in that arm.
Remember the year you had with the White Sox, and then he got traded to, I believe, the Cubs, and kind of fell apart. It kind of happens.
I remember a Cardinals game in Chicago where the Cubs jumped out, and in the late innings, the Cardinals just went to work against Craig Kimbrell. They just hit so many home runs, it was unbelievable.
Or was it the Cubs to the White Sox? I think that was
I don't care what it was.
But either way,
I'm going when he was with the Cubs. That's what I'm talking about.
Fine.
Don't interrupt my story with the need for a detail that nobody cares about.
Just want to make a deal, man. Just make some deals.
You are pathetic. The
Get
older you
something
get,
done.
the more pathetic you are.
How do you figure?
Do you hear me over here doing this? I mean,
yeah, but you've won.
How many? Oh, 11.
I don't care.
I will always have a feeling of superiority.
I don't care. I just want one. You can have 99 if I get one.
If I get 99, which would take quite a deal since there's only 11, I'd need to win 88. How many years do I have left?
How many years does baseball have left?
What do you mean, how many years?
Well, Major League Baseball exists in the year 2500.
No.
It won't?
Something else will. Societies move on. There won't be football. There won't be baseball. There probably won't be basketball. Societies will. There may not even be people. It'll just be artificial intelligence doing everything.
Will there be Major League Baseball in 2200?
Yes.
So somewhere between 2200 and 2500.
That's 300 years.
Major League Baseball doesn't exist.
That's 300
I understand how long it is. But at 2200, it will have been around for nearly 400 years.
Yeah, and we love baseball. We love basketball. We love football. We love hockey. All these sports will eventually cease.
Hockey will still be around because there's ice. And
I don't understand what
play
that means.
outside on the ice. You don't need to build a field, construct a diamond. You can just go set up 2 goals and play on the lake.
No, you need a rink, and you need to smooth out the ice, and you need to.
No, they play on the ice.
There won't be ice
on the lake.
Listen, that's why
you
they
said there
call
won't
it
be
ice
hockey.
You got to smooth out the ice. They don't call it. Listen.
Yeah, no kid in Canada grew up playing on the lake.
We'll ask Duda tonight.
Okay, well I don't. We don't need to ask.
There'll be hockey. Will there be NHL hockey?
Don't know.
Why would kids play it if
will
there's
there be the city of Los Angeles?
I don't get into all that.
Okay,
have some hope.
Will there
You'll
be the city of Butte, Montana?
Sure.
Okay.
Wichita will be here.
You think so?
Sure it will.
Will it have a Major League Baseball team?
We will take a break. We'll continue whatever this was. Morbid something. The Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
All right, a programming change. We're going to get Troy Morrill on the show here today at 3:40. Troy Morrill coming out of coaching retirement joining Nate Drowling's staff at Utah State.
Really? That's amazing. I did not know that.
That's a big deal. That guy is a heck of a football coach. Many years of success at Butler Community College. Troy had gone into private business for several years now, quite a few years, and he's getting back on the sidelines.
Yeah,
I was astounded by that news, and thanks to Troy for agreeing to come on here in about 14 minutes or so. So I'm reading ESPN.com. Of course, everybody wants to write about trades that could happen because people click on them.
Of course.
And that's all we do. We click, 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 click.
And then nothing
And meanwhile, our teams do nothing. But we click, and they have the Cleveland Guardians kind of active. Deals that will likely rule the deadline. These are trades they think should be made.
All right.
What's the kid's name? Schoenfeld?
David
thinks the Cleveland Guardians should acquire Garrett Crochet from the Chicago White Sox.
Guess it wouldn't hurt. We'll see.
They won the draft lottery and number one pick Travis Bazzana. They can afford to deal the package needed to bring Crochet to Cleveland. They also, down here a little farther, they had the Guardians active another time, that the Oakland Athletics should trade Mason Miller to the Cleveland Guardians, according to, what's Doolittle's first name? Brandon?
No, I don't remember.
Thinks that they should bring him in to team with Emmanuel Clase.
Can I ask another question? Mason Miller
broke his hand, right?
He broke his left pinky, and he throws right-handed. Why would he need to go on the injured list for that?
No, just said it's painful, man. Got to stabilize the pain for a while.
For 10 days?
Yeah.
On pitch.
Stabilize.
He'll be fine. Pitch.
And then it's got a really far-fetched idea that the Chicago Cubs should trade Cody Bellinger to the Cardinals.
Really? Yeah, that's not going to happen.
They won't trade him to the Cardinals. But we'd take him.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, but that seems unlikely.
And you know what they'd do with him? No, they wouldn't. They don't have the courage. They'd play him in center field, or maybe even right field.
What you about to say?
Go to first
play
base.
At first, no chance.
Man, I'm a loyal guy, and I love Paul Goldschmidt. But if you're going to try to win something here, their best team would be for Cody Bellinger. Now, this is crazy. I understand it's not happened and it won't happen. But if it were to happen, their best team would be with Cody Bellinger at first base.
And who in center?
Michael Ciani.
He's not good.
Who is a great outfielder.
Well, so is Bellinger.
You know what? Ciani over the last month and a half has hit over 300.
Okay.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, pal.
So what did that bring him up to, 180?
No, he's hitting about 230, 240.
Great.
I mean, I'm not
no power.
Forming a fan club for
Your
Michael
best team
Ciani.
with Bellinger is Bellinger in center and Goldschmidt at first.
Maybe if Goldschmidt gets it going. But you got to have Ciani somewhere.
No, you don't. He's a fourth outfield type. Bring him in.
I like the kid. I've grown to like him.
Well, you can like him.
Yeah, listen. The Cardinals got a lot of decisions to make. Every team does. It's got to be maddening to run a Major League Baseball team.
I'm sure
in
it
this
is.
Day and age where no one can hit, and how do you get hitting? Or do you just stock up on pitching so that no one can hit you?
I don't know. It's you got to thread the needle. You got to make those tough decisions.
Just get a bunch of pitching, and you never have to worry. They won again tonight, 2-1. Congratulations. And the game played in 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Well, that might be the way to go. And
might be the way to go.
What a lot of teams are trying to do, but who's really successful at it? Maybe the Phillies?
Well, I don't know. Who has... The Dodgers are trying.
They always try.
Kershaw back now.
Glasnow's back, I believe, or coming back.
And they're expected to make a move. They just traded James Paxton to the Red Sox. I don't know why. The Red Sox, they're hurting for pitching. So we'll see.
We will. 4 days. an agonizingly.
Well, it's not 4 days. These teams are starting to make moves now.
Okay.
We'll have more trades tonight. We'll have a few over the weekend.
We'll see.
We'll get to the deadline, and your Guardians will not have done anything, and you'll be.
No, you don't get to say that.
And then you'll be a nervous
You don't get to say that.
Well, I will say it.
You don't get to say that. You're not a fan. You're being Duda right now.
I will say it, and when you tell me I'm being Duda, and Duda, I hope you're listening.
I hope
That's
you're
a
not.
deep honor.
Really? I didn't mean it that way.
That means I'm a Thunder Hall of Famer.
I meant it as an insult.
That means I have a jersey hanging somewhere, which, by the way, I do at the pump house.
Is that why we're going there? Man, you just ruined it for me. Thought we were going to have a good time tonight.
Why would you say that about me?
I don't know. It's just tough.
Would you rather not sit in the area where
we can sit anywhere you want.
They have my jersey on display? It's not hanging, it's on display.
It's hanging on the wall.
Well, it's not hanging. It's displayed on the wall.
Yeah, via a hanger.
No, not a hanger.
Basically
he put it in a frame.
I
It looks
don't know.
very nice. And I appreciate Darren for doing it.
He's a wonderful guy.
We also got Brent Kimness's.
Yeah, so it's not like it's luminary.
And who else? There's one other.
I don't know.
Might be Pelfrey.
That'd be my guess.
Somebody like that. But I look forward to heading downtown after the show today.
No doubt. Me too. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't care what you... Good.
You're welcome.
What time's... I forgot to mention, Tua... Can't say his last name. Say it for me.
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. Why is it Why is there an N in there?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
And why is an A instead of an O? And Vailoa. That makes sense. But the first four letters of his name are Tago. Why isn't it Tagovailoa?
Because it's not.
It's Tagovailoa?
Yeah.
Tunga when his name is spelled Tago.
Tagovailoa.
Well, make it make sense.
Different letters are pronounced different ways in different dialects.
He's agreed to a 4-year, $212.4 million extension, $167 million of that guaranteed. No player in the NFL will be under a bigger microscope than Tunga.
Dak.
What?
Dak probably will. Dak, the quarterback of the highest profile franchise, which might be the Chiefs now, but he's not going to be under a spotlight because he's two-time Super Bowl defending champ.
Well, they'll be under a spotlight simply because they're trying to win 3 in a row.
Yeah, but he won't be under, he won't get, Patrick Mahomes can't win the big one or things like that, like Dak will.
Then the NBA TV package announced today, split between Disney, ESPN, ABC, NBC, and Prime Video. And Charles Barkley now saying he's spoken with all three entities. We knew he wasn't gonna leave.
Probably not.
Why'd he say that?
That show itself has to continue somewhere. And I don't know if it can. I'm sure.
I don't know if it can either.
They own the intellectual property. TNT does, I'm sure. Or Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever.
Well, Warner wasn't in this package. They're not part of it.
They matched the offer from Amazon, but the NBA went to Amazon instead, which I don't understand.
Troy Morrill joins us. Boy, Troy, you threw me a curveball this morning when I read the report by Charles Chaney over at the Butler County Times that you've accepted a position at Utah State, joining Nate Drotting's staff. You are going to be the associate head coach and senior offensive analyst. Wow. Troy, explain it to me.
I think I caught a lot of people off guard, sort of, including myself. But no, just really, really excited about this opportunity to get back into football. It was 10 years when I left Butler 10 years ago, and did that for my family, and don't regret anything about that. And I was able to accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish in the meantime. And so this opportunity came sort of out of the blue, and I just felt like it was time to get back into it. And I know there's been a tremendous amount of change in college football, but I'm anxious and ready to get back into it and, get the whistle back on and start coaching and be a part of building something out here at Utah State with Nate.
Yeah. How did you kind of arrive at the decision? How have you, this is the question I really want to ask that I just forgot, but I'll ask it now. How did you kind of stay close to football during the time away? And how do you prepare yourself for getting back into it? I'm sure a lot has changed over the last 10 years.
Yeah. Staying close to it was, when I immediately left Butler, my son still played, so was able to watch a lot of high school football and then, just take a seat as a fan. And, I watched several Butler games, stayed attached there when I lived in Hutchinson and helped those guys out. I would go watch some Hutch JUCO games live, went and watched a lot of college games, and then obviously a lot on TV that I didn't ever get to watch, when you're coaching the game. So, and then just going and watching some of my former players that were playing, still play, go watch them play in games, and then guys that are coaching, be able to go in and see them as well. So I guess just to answer your question, just a lot of viewing of it. And you always, I guess as a coach, at least what my wife tells me, she hates watching football with me because I always love to rewind things. And so just watching the game evolve and so forth, the different variations of it, the new ideas that come in and just watch it as a fan. And then, now it's just getting back and it's kind of like riding a bicycle. You jump on and, get your balance back and eventually just take right off and go. And I've been out here for a little over, I guess, going on 48 hours now. So, it's been a whirlwind, but man, gives me goosebumps. Talked to the team a little bit this morning for the first time, and that was awesome. Very fulfilling, and just super thankful for the opportunity. And it's sitting here staring out my window right now at a huge mountain range, and a lot different than Kansas or Boston, where I was living.
Is there a job for me there? That sounds incredible. Troy Morrill, our guest, we're talking to him about his decision to join the staff of Nate Dreiling at Utah State. Interesting, too, that Dave Wiemers is also going to join that staff, former head coach at Emporia State. Tell us about your relationships with Coach Dreiling and Coach Wiemers and how much that played into this decision, if at all.
Yeah, so, I would say my relationship with Nate is more through his dad, Randy, and of course, right. Just meeting Nate when he was really young. I was going in there and recruiting at Hutch High and had a good relationship with Randy and talked to Nate a few times here and there in passing and stuff, and just really followed his career and all of that. But honestly, not a whole lot of interaction up until this point of the phone call that came in. It was crazy. We were out at Nantucket and getting on the ferry to head back to Cape Cod, and that phone call came in. I was like, "Is this real?" Kind of thing. And I actually told him I probably couldn't do it, and we just kept talking for 2 or 3 weeks there, and ended up just making a decision that I think where I'm at in my life and my kids, my wife, it was, they're all ready to get back into it as well. So it was definitely not only a decision for me, but for my family as well.
And Dave Wiemers, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about that, because he's also a very good football coach.
He certainly is, and honestly haven't had a lot of interaction with him. He actually landed in Salt Lake around noon today, so I'm anxious to visit with him. I haven't had any contact with him at all, leading up to this point. So he and I will definitely be the two elders on the staff, though.
Yeah, Nate is a young guy, a first-time head coach. He got thrust into it after some I don't know what happened with the program, but it was tumultuous. So what impression has he made on you so far just during your conversations? What traits show you that he can be a solid head coach?
Oh, man, he's got a really good toolbox. He's all about the athletes, the student athletes, and giving them the platform and the things that they need to be successful, off the field, on the field. He's definitely, I would say, like a player's coach. His playing days weren't that long ago, so he relates with the guys extremely well from what I've seen so far. And, he's extremely mature. He's obviously been around the game his whole life, and so that pedigree is there, and, defensive mind, and so he'll be spending a lot of time not only as a head coach, but also on the defensive side of the ball. So that's where myself and Coach Wiemers can come in and help him, do some of the head coach tasks along the way. But, man, he's a great communicator, great motivator. You can just tell in the short time I've been here, the players respect him and love him. And he's definitely a guy that understands the things that these players go through, and these kids have faced some adversity here, obviously, with everything that's gone on here. And the biggest thing I could say probably just about the culture is that nobody has left here. So the portal opened up when Blake Anderson was let go, and everybody stayed. And there's some guys on here that were on this team that had some major offers from different places. And so I think that speaks everything that you need to know about Nate and how he's been able to hold this thing together.
Troy Morrill, our guest, I believe he's the finest junior college football coach who's ever done it. He's headed now to Utah State to join the staff of Nate Dreiling. I got to give it up to Nate Dreiling because I'm curious, Troy, how many times have you been asked to join a Division I staff in your career?
I can think of like 3 different times. And the last time was Les Miles at KU, and obviously we know how all that turned out, so I'm glad I didn't make the jump. But just a handful of times, and I still get a few calls here and there for different levels of football, but I don't know. This one just felt like they've had tradition here. It's a great place to live. The culture and everything. And with Nate, I know what he's about and all that. So that was a main thing too, like who you're going to surround yourself with and so forth in a decision like this.
Well, Logan, Utah gains the Morrill family, and Kansas will be sad about your loss, but I'm speaking personally here. I think it's awesome that you're going to get back into coaching, and you've given us more reasons to follow Utah State. Troy, it's a real pleasure to talk with you. Best of luck, and congratulations on this.
Well, thank you so much, Bob, and thank you for the kind words. And it's going to be fun. Super excited, and we're going to give it our best. And so go Aggies, and thanks again for having me on.
You bet. Thank you, Troy.
Sir, thanks, Jeff.
Troy Morrill. Awesome. I just think that's awesome. He's one of my favorite people that I've ever, and I didn't cover him.
I did.
But I know him.
And he was fantastic.
Just a good guy. And Utah State, man, when do they play? I'm ready. I'm going to look up their schedule.
Probably late August.
Well, give me a schedule.
Give me a second.
Give me some gear. You want to get me a Christmas
They play Robert
present?
Morris on
there
August 31st.
There you go. They're going to kill Bob.
And then they got USC. Then they got Utah.
Uh-oh. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for being with us all week. We'll be back here on Monday. Have a good weekend.